Good good day everyone. My name is JRL Edisa from BSF Math 2. My topic is learner with exceptionalities in module 7. First, first categories that I given to me is physical disability, and the second is health impairment. First, we unlocking the words. First is exceptionalities. Exceptionalities is physical, mental, or emotional condition, including gifted, talented abilities which require individualized instruction and or other educational support or services. Second is learner. Learner is a person who is learning a subject or skills. Physical disability is a physical condition that affects a person's mobility, physical capacity, stamina, or dexterity. This can include brain or spinal cord injuries, multiple sclerosis, cerebral palsy, respiratory disorder, epilepsy, hearing and visual impairment, and more. Then, health impairments is that it refers to symptoms and condition that occur because of a specific disease or condition. One example is the way a student diagnosed with the diabetes might feel. Next is disability. The definition of disability is a physical or mental condition that limits a person, movement, senses, or activities. Impairment is the act of impairing something or states or condition or being impaired. Impairment is, sa Tagalog, kapansanan. Then, physical, a medical examination to determine a person's bodily fitness. And lastly is health. Health is states of being free from illness or injury. He was restored to health. So, we tackled the basic categories of my module or my topics. Physical disability is a physical condition that affects a person's mobility, physical capacity, stamina, or dexterity. This can include brain or spinal cord injuries, multiple sclerosis, cerebral palsy, respiratory disorders, epilepsy, hearing and visual impairments, and more. There's an example of types of physical disability. One of my example is cerebral palsy. It's a physical disability resulting from injury to the developing brain during pregnancy, birth, and shortly after birth. So, understandable naman ning kuan kining akong topic, then easy ra pod ang English. So, the example picture here. Next is the second is stroke. Is a type of physical disability resulting from bleeding in the brain or interruption of the center nervous system blood supply. We can see in the picture, this is the mga symptoms, mga blood clot, then kanang dili pa normal nga dugo nga pagkuan pag-function sa dugo. So the second picture is that was a man who suffering a stroke. Third is spinal cord injury. Spinal cord injuries result from a lack of sufficient blood or oxygen supply to the spinal cords. It can also arise from the application of excess pressure to the spinal cord. They have a picture here, example. Then, levels of injury extend in paralysis. That's one. Then, those are the physical disability. Then the second is health impairment. It is that it refers to the symptom and condition that occurs because of a specific disease or condition. There's a types of health impairment. Number one is diabetes. Diabetes occurs because the body cannot properly digest the sugar that an individual eats. A student with a high blood sugar may experience headaches, stomach, cramps, nausea, and even vomiting. There's the example here in picture. Second is Tourette syndrome. It is a disease characterized by stick and inability to control one's speech. Itong mukalit raganig, kung mugimok ng sa mga parties lawas mo na mga syndromes, Tourette syndromes. So, makakuha na sa mapiktaw na brain. Then, third is leukemia. Leukemia is another of the other health impairments both because of its symptoms and because of the symptoms associated with the treatment. Children diagnosed with leukemia will often go through chemotherapy. This treatment option can be lead to hair loss and cause intense nausea and vomiting. It infers the child's ability to eat and keep down foods too. Doctors often recommend that children take time off school when battle and disgrace, but once they go back to school, they need to administration willing to adjust their education plan based on their symptoms. So, mana yung kas mga leukemia. Yung mga wala ng buhok, mga lagas, that is leukemia. Then, overview of these topics. Both physical and health impairment are considered disability when they interfere with educational and other daily living. Physical impairment include those caused by congenital abnormality, impairment caused by disease, and impairment from other causes. Health impairments include disease and or chronic illness. It is important to find out what is underlying disease or disorder that causes the physical and or health impairment in or to truly define the characteristics. So that's all my topics. So hinaot nga masabtan. So these topics are specific cognition and academic difficulties. This is mga disease. Then ang apektado ani is physical, then mental, emotional condition to those gifted and talented abilities. So a person having this kind of difficulties, the teacher or the person or their guidance or their guardian wants to have a guide or adjust for their educational purposes. So that's all. Thank you.